Many people, when they talk about leadership, they define it as a process of influence. So they talk about a leader and followers and the power to influence, but towards what? Most of the definitions will tell you it is influencing towards achieving a certain goal. Now that goal could be profit making. Mostly, it is an outcome that we are seeking. But then I recently read a book by an author called Ken Blanchard. And he's written a book called Leading at a Higher Level. If you can find your hands on that, please read it. Ken Blanchard, Leading at a Higher Level. And Ken goes ahead to redefine leadership. And he says, leadership is the capacity to influence people so that you unleash the power and the potential within them towards a greater good, to impact a greater good. And that word got me. What does he mean by greater good? What do you think he meant? Probably something we need to ponder on, because in this room, it's full of leaders. When President Obama, the year he became a president, I was in the US, and I was specifically in Iowa, state of Iowa. And so I got to hear that he was coming to do his campaign in one of the conference halls around my residence. And the person who was to be the harbinger, the person who goes ahead of the candidate, was to be Oprah Winfrey. And so for me, I thought, this black guy, can he really make it to be a president? But because Oprah Winfrey is there, I'm gonna go to see Oprah. And so I ended up in that place. And when Oprah took the platform, the place went wild. And then of course she introduced this guy who had short sleeved, he had tucked his shirt, folded the sleeves, very skinny, not looking like much. And then he came, and of course the orator that we all know, Barack is, he did his speech. We went home talking about how we met Oprah. Okay. And then shortly after that, Obama was sworn in as president. And I was like, nothing is ever what it seems today. You are not what we are seeing today. In a few years, in many years, in decades maybe, you're not going to look like this. And you will not have accomplished just what you think you have accomplished now. There's so much more in you. So for the ladies, when you see this young man here, you see what I saw in Iowa. Just a guy with folded sleeves, not much to write home about. But he was protest, right? What do you see when you look at yourself? What do you see when you look at others? That's a question I want you to really ponder about, because nothing is ever what it seems when you look at it. And so before I usher in our guest speaker, I want to tell you a little story of somebody that we all know. Maybe we didn't get to hear much of her, but in my time she was really popular. Somebody who followed a life of significance. She chose to lead for the greater good and not the outcomes. She chose to pursue the higher calling. And the kind of a leader that she became is something we still talk about. I'm still talking about it now, though she's dead. Mother Teresa. She didn't pursue money and wealth and fame, but she gave. She was generous. She pursued loving relationships. She went for the people. And her goal, what drove her was her heart. Not pride. She was driven by love for the people she was leading in her ministry. What Mother Teresa got at the end? She got fame, she got status. There is no global event that needed serious people in meetings that she was not called to. She got recognition worldwide. She got awards that many of us would envy and not come close to, because she chose to be a servant leader. She became a leader who served the people and not a self-serving leader. And so that's my shot to you today. What kind of a leader are you? What kind of a leader do you want to be? When we hand over the generations, the leadership, the government, the institutions to you, what kind of a leader are you going to be? Are you going to be a servant leader who serves the people? Or are you going to be a self-serving leader driven by fear and pride and outcomes like profit and money and greed? It's a choice that we have to make. But I do have a dream that one day we're going to have a legacy and a treasure in this country where leadership will be defined by servant leaders who serve the people. And the issue of self-serving leadership will be a thing of the past. It will be history. I look forward to that day, and I believe that many of you who are here are going to shape that dawn. Put up your hand if you agree with me. Yes, we're going to make that dawn come, the day when we shall be the serving leaders to serve the people out of love, out of relationship, and wanting the greater good that will go beyond us. That people will talk about it like we are talking about Mother Teresa today.